Hey there, Blue Table fans. Alright, so here's the deal. Literally, here's the deal. I'm going to talk about Blue Table painting specials. First rule is any special that we run is limited time, limited quantity. So it may not be forever. If you're watching this video and it's many, many months later, well, this information might be dated. Rule number 2, you must ask for specials when you inquire. All projects that we do start with an email. Our current email is bluetablepainting@gmail.com, where our friendly, helpful, full-time staff are available to set up your project or answer any questions that you may have. So, first special, this is what's called level 2. So we do massed infantry. Most of the figures we do are levels 2, 3, and 4. And heroes are 5 and 6. So usually you get what's called a split. So everything in your army is level 3, except the heroes, which could be just a few models, which are level 5. There is such a thing as getting all hero level done, but usually you don't do that with a really big force. But you can, if you want, reduce things down to the minimum level, that's level 2, and currently you save 30% off painting by going that way. We have a special called Tank Factory. Tank Factory means you get half off painting of vehicles. It's usually for a science fiction game. Let's face it, 40K is the big science fiction game. You get half off the painting of your vehicles as long as you have 6. Now that's not buy 3, get 3 painted free. It's if you have 6 or more, they're all half what they would normally be. I would never, ever, ever, ever do an army without getting the Tank Factory special. What's the next one? One we're running currently is what's called 60 plus. I don't know how much longer we'll have this. It's really quite simple for basic infantry, meaning models that they themselves are not very complicated. I have a list. I'm going to provide a link to this. If you do them level 2 and your instructions aren't that difficult, the cost for painting them is $3 a figure. And by the way, that is very, very inexpensive. And our level 2 ain't that bad. And so this special was designed to get masses of stuff done. But you could technically make an army with just 60 figures in it and be like, okay, paint them all. But they have to be relatively basic, so you probably have to have your heroes done as a separate thing. Back to level 2. One sort of tweak on that we've been doing recently is allowing the whole army to be done at level 2, including heroes. So if you come to us and you say, you know what, my budget's very limited, I just need my stuff painted, let us know that. Don't be shy about that. Our job is to get you playing miniatures battles and having a great time with painted figures without having to go through all the trouble of buying paints, learning how to paint, buying assembly equipment, glue. How do you even do it? So we get rid of that investment and you just pay us to kind of take away all of the difficulty associated with that. But still have all the joy of opening a box. Oh, and there's all these painted figs in it. Oh, and they look so good. What a joy. It's like Christmas, really. So with level 2, we'll do just the basics on this. Now back to the 60 plus special. So it's $3 a figure for painting, but you have to have a minimum run of 60 figures. That was weird. The printer just made a noise. Okay, so now some people have said, does that include the cost of the figure? No, it doesn't, because a lot of times the cost of the figure is $3. So you can, if you want, have us pick up your figures and assemble them. Assembly is a separate thing too. But if you have a bunch of figures just ready to be painted, send them in. Now's the time. Just take advantage of that special, and it is a good way to get things done quick. Orcs, 40K orcs, an orc army. The hardest part of putting together an orc army is the 60 boys that you need. Perfect. In fact, this is perfect for a lot of horde armies for 40K. So, or for any game. When I made the 60 plus special, I really had in mind Warhammer Fantasy, because I was doing my vampire counts, and I'm just like, oh man, if you need 100 zombies, that adds up. So, and I was thinking to myself, what is the least expensive we could just do this? So you're talking 60 guys could be done for $180. That is very inexpensive. Okay, the next special is called Artistic License. And so basically, if you choose Artistic License, it means you get 10% off the cost of your painting. And remember, there's 3 columns for the expense of an army. It's map, models, assembly, and painting. So with the cost of your models, which will be 0 if you send them to us, the cost of assembly, which is, anyway, it's the cost of assembly, which will be nothing if you send them already assembled and ready to paint, and then the cost of painting. So level 2 means, Artistic License means that you save 10% off the cost of your painting, but we get to pick how they're painted and based. There's limitations to this. The limitations are, we have to do something reasonably within the genre. So we can't do some weird thing. And the second thing is that, no, that's it. But we do take requests. So you could say, but you kind of need permission first. So you could say, you know what, I like them to be Artistic License, but the predominant color should be red. Is that okay with you guys? And then we'll say, yeah, that works, because it'll be all the same to us in most cases. So, or you could say, or I really don't like purple, or I'd like them to be grungy and weathered, but you can't. But that list can't get very long without. In fact, usually just one very simple thing is typically what we'll tolerate as the wiggle room on Artistic License. Now, if you go, and there are some armies where I'll go a little bit higher on the Artistic License cut there, but typically it's 10%. And yeah, so it's personal taste. We might think of something better than you could have thought of. You might not care, but boy, be ready emotionally to have us do something that maybe you didn't think of. Okay, let's talk about the trade-in program. The trade program is that basically you send us models and we give you a gift certificate and for use at like an in-store credit. So again, I have a link with all this written down, and like with all other specials and deals, it is limited time, limited quantity. I might run them for years, but there is a thing where we can do them at our own discretion. So anyway, with the trade-ins, so you send us models, and yeah, you get a gift certificate. So the first thing you do is you email us at bluetablepainting@gmail.com, and you just say, I'd like more information about the trade program. We'll send you the link. I'll also put it in the liner notes here. That'll explain how it works. I'm about to verbally explain how it works. And so you send your list. You get an offer on it. Usually what we do is we roughly calculate the retail value of the models, and then we give a credit equal to a percentage of that. So usually in the 20 to 40% range. Our baseline is 25%, and we sell them for right around 50%. So sometimes it's less, and sometimes it's more. We don't mind if they're painted. We don't mind if it's out of print. Everything's worth something, even if it's going to get ground up and put on bases as decoration. So don't be shy. The huge advantage of the trade program is the convenience. You don't have to split it up. You don't have to answer questions about it. You don't have to do repairs and touch-ups and finish the army before you send it out. You just box it up and out it goes. Most of the time, not always, we'll also offer a credit to help you with the cost of shipping as well. So we take a little bit of that edge off, sometimes all of the edge off. Let's see here, trade program. Now, what can you do with that gift certificate? You can use it to purchase models through us, and the limitation there is they have to be commonly available. So things that we can get through our regular channels at a reasonable discount. But the gift certificate is only for retail value. So if you have a credit, so I'm using all this synonymously, gift certificate, in-store credit, and credit is all the same thing. So if you use your credit for models, it's retail value of the models. And what else? So notably, we can't get Forge World, so that's a thing. But we can get a lot of different stuff. We can get Games Workshop, War Machine, most games that you've heard of, books. We even have a thing where some of our distributors carry like anime DVDs and board games. You can hold on to your credit. There's no reason you can't, just keep it around for use later. And when you get an email confirming that you have it, you can use it for Valhalla tickets too. So that's another use of a trade credit. And the thing that we love is when you use it for service. So you can use it for assembly. You can use it to get an army painted. Let's see. We will let you use it to purchase other models that we have for sale, notably trade-in stuff. There's limitations to that, but for the most part, we do allow it. It is case by case, but most of the time we do allow it. And so, yeah, the trade-in, the trade-in program is awesome. It is really super fantastic. The other thing with the trade program is you can send in models for assessment, which means you just say, hey, by the way, sent you some models for assessment, and now that I've kind of given you a general idea of how it works, you send them in, and then we give you an offer once they get here. Technically, you could refuse it, and we'd have to ship them back, which is a real drag. So please be sure that you are, okay with our general parameters for how we run it before you send things in. But please, we beg of you, please, in your package, on the top, when we open it, there has to be a sheet of paper that explains what this is about. You have to say, my name is so-and-so, my address is this, here's my phone number, and I'm sending in these models for assessment. Or I was given an X dollars trade for these models. Invoice helps, but not necessary. Okay, so that's the trade program, and you can combine level 2 and artistic license. There goes that printer again. Okay, just as a PSA, I'm getting rid of the basic training special, that's gone, and Pandora Armies are also gone. Turbo Armies, alive and well, do highly recommend. A Turbo Army is where you pick the army that you want, but we pick what's in it, and we get artistic license too. But it's the best deal. We make sure with Turbo Armies that you don't end up paying more than you would have had you just picked everything that we picked. So we take some pains to make sure that the value is there. However, with Turbo Armies, we will still take some requests. Again, usually one, and a very broad one at that. So, for example, you'd say, I want a 300-point combined army, and I like the color green. Or you might say, I keep saying color, but it's case by case. We might want to just do it whatever color we want. But usually you can get accommodated. So anyway, so that's what a Turbo Army is, and there's a link to that. We have them all listed out. You can get War Machine Turbo Armies, Infinity Turbo Armies. So there's that. So that's all of our specials explained verbally for your radio amusement. Just a couple notes though. Our job is to make sure you get a painted army, and we love to do that. So by all means, get in touch with us. Don't be shy. It does help to let us know what your budget is. And you could say that. You could say, I have X dollars. I'm trying to get into this game, and this is kind of what I'm thinking. What can you do for me? And a standing budget's nice too. I've had people say, you know what, I have this credit on tap, or I have this amount of money available. Just kind of keep your eyes peeled. And this has to do with the trade program too. So as Armies come in, I try and match the Army to an owner. And and that's the other end of the trade program, which is purchasing things. And that is, we've got the scrapyard, which has insane deals in it. And we also have whole armies coming in. And that's another thing with whole armies. We are interested and will credit. So you're like, well, you give 20 to 40% of the retail value of the models. It can go higher than that if it's painted. And if it's painted well, we just make an assessment. We're trying to make an assessment of what can we sell this for, and without an undue amount of waiting. So, because everything will sell fast if you get that price down. It's as the price comes down, it just moves faster. If I had a 5,000 point army painted spectacularly, and I said, oh yeah, this is $10. Do you know how fast I would sell that? Crazy. So from that extreme, you just start kind of moving it up to where that right price is, the right amount of time, everything works out, everybody's happy. You just have to get those numbers right. So anyway, so if you do have a painted army, come see us, because we could make your life a whole lot more convenient. Well, anyway, thanks for tuning in. As usual, because when I start these things, you're like, you know what, I just need to say it fast, because you don't want to belabor things. But you know what? Apparently that's my style. So here you go, and I hope it was worthwhile.